The day of the crash, it was a Monday morning. I remember saying goodbye to my girlfriend, grabbing my lunch. A particular song and a roundabout, but the whole morning is very vague. And I remember the fire service and the ambulance trying to get me out of the vehicle. And then next thing I remember waking up at Coventry and Warwick Hospital. It was like a dream. I couldn't believe it. I suffered from T10 to L2. I think it was 3 breaks. So from my accident site down, I was completely paralysed. I had no feeling, no movement. I used to play first to 10 with my stepson at the time every night, and he was an aspiring little footballer. He still is, and that's what broke my heart the most. That I would never be able to kick a football properly with him again. My life before my accident, I was very social. I've got a massive family, so we would go to many family gatherings. I was a captain of my football team. For me, it was a dream job at Jaguar Land Rover. I was building prototype vehicles. One of my passions before my accident was walking my dogs. I had 3, a mum, dad and daughter, going out with my stepson and going for, I call them adventures, with the dogs, climbing trees, running around the big fields, hiding from them. I loved it, and that's all I wanted to do. And when I had the accident, when they told me I wasn't going to walk again, in my head I'm just like, what are you on about? I have to walk again because I have 3 dogs at home. I'm not going to give them away. I'm not going to sell them. They're my dogs. They're my children. So they need to be walked. So I had it in my head to be determined to try and get to a certain position where I could physically take them out again. So I can't balance. I've got no calves. So where I do normal tasks where it's easier, I can't bend over and walk, or just bending over, I might fall over. Get out of a car. I'm normal because I forget sometimes. Go to get out of a car, fall on the floor, which is quite embarrassing, very hurts, and I fall over on a regular basis. 2-3 weeks into the hospital, I spoke to an MTSB. She was a lovely young lady, very easy to talk to, and she explained everything to me properly and broke it down. And she spoke about the legal side of my accident, and that's where I met Andy. He was easy to talk to, a good fella. Felt reassured that someone was going to fight my legal battle and be there in my corner to help me at every step of the way. Andy was always at the end of a phone call. I could WhatsApp him and know that he's going to be back at me as soon as possible.
So I was asked to go and see Curtis, and I remember going to see him, and he was in a pretty bad way. He'd just been told that he wouldn't walk again. My job is to provide some reassurance that his journey ahead wouldn't be taken alone, and that we would seek justice for what had happened to him. The first thing that we did upon receiving instructions from Curtis was to contact the police and try and gain an understanding as to what happened. The police produced a police report that initially concluded that Curtis was in the process of overtaking when the impact happened, and the accident was effectively his fault. The conclusions reached by the police would have meant the end-to-any legal claim that Curtis had. So upon receipt of the police report, it was obvious that there was further evidence that the police hadn't provided. So I immediately sought disclosure of that information and that evidence, and upon receipt of it, reviewed what was over 300 photographs. It was very obvious from review of the photographs that there was a further potential explanation for what had happened. So we arranged to interview the investigating officer and also the officer that had compiled effectively an accident reconstruction report. It was through that interview process that we were able to determine that both the investigating officer and the reconstruction expert had concluded that at the point of impact, the defendant's vehicle was in the centre of the carriageway. I think what this case demonstrates is the need to examine the evidence very, very carefully. We received a police report that initially concluded that Curtis was responsible, and it was only through our interrogation of that evidence and speaking to the officers that we were able to establish liability on his behalf. The case was extremely difficult, but through sheer perseverance, we were able to get the outcome that Curtis needed.
So, I've known Curtis about 18 months. He was actually introduced to us as part of a programme to sort of select people who got some of the attributes of Paralympians.
So now I'm back in sport, they're proud of me. My brothers tell me how proud of me they are all the time, and it makes me feel mentally I'm again, feeling like I'm equal. I'm as one of them again, not just a burden, which I didn't want to be and I would never be. So give me a bit of purpose. I'm in the GB Academy, so I have a training schedule, a training plan I have to adhere to every week. So I've got a 7 to 8 week camp, because I want to beat my PB at the GB Trials, which is held at Caversham at the GB base, rowing base in November. And hopefully I should beat my score and maybe be the #1 PR2 single men's.
Hopefully we're looking at either a World Cup appearance next year or the World Championships, which is September 25.
The reality is that Curtis's sheer determination and will has got him to the position that he's in today. He's made unbelievable progress. He's had a lot of help along the way from family, his rowing coach. He's going to compete in the Olympics. I'm absolutely confident of that. He will win a gold. I've got no doubt whatsoever. He's one of the most determined individuals that I've ever worked with.
I feel like I'm normal when I'm in the boat. It's hard to say normal, but that's how I feel. I feel like I'm equal would be probably a better word. And with the rowing, I'm very excited because not due to being famous or anything, I'm a very quite secret person, but I'll be the first person of colour to get a medal at the Paralympics, which will be an achievement on its own. And I'm hopefully trying to get more diversity into rowing in the disability world, because I know there'll be a lot of people that with disabilities that they don't know about that could qualify them for rowing. And I believe that if I'm in the limelight, I could maybe shine on rowing disability, power rowing a lot more, and get a few more people into it. And also I'm very excited for the races because I believe that I could podium quite quickly, and I believe I'm up there. I should be up there, so all the hard work will be paying off.